DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Hello. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.
I want to go a different direction than what we have typically done in our shows. A lot of times we've gone and we've given content and we've talked about situations and we've talked about things that would improve the person or improve the business. Tonight I want to open this up and I want to talk about the kind of discussions you and I have had for the last 15 plus years about what it's going to take to
what do you have?
to improve the industry. And we have now 27 minutes to talk about it and solve the industry's problems. Go.
Okay.
So for those of you wondering, just to give a little bit of background, Bill and I have known each other for forever in the DJ world up here in Minnesota. And early in our time together, when we met actually out at Mobile Beats a long time ago, but then we started working on a project up here in Minnesota at the time called the Minnesota Association of Professional DJs.
Yes.
And I think, Bill, that's really where, as you and I were talking during that phase of us building this association up here in Minnesota, we started to see that there was something needed in the industry. If this industry was going to become something more.
Okay, so great. So where do we go from here? Well, the first thing that needs to happen is that we need to gather together, like what we did back in the day, reach out and gather together everybody who ever thinks themselves as a DJ. And not worry so much about whether or not, we only want the good DJs. We only want, one of the problems we ran into is we put a bunch of standards out there for DJs before, in fact, we had enough DJs together to be able to have everybody jump on board. So we had, even like, I'll give you an example, MAP DJ, Midwest Association of Professional DJs. We had at our peak about 200 guys.
Yep.
And at that 200, we were like, all right, we got these guys together. Now we're going to put together standards. Okay, they're going to have to step up to these standards to be a part of the membership. Problem is that most of the people we reached out to were still DJing the way we learned to do it. I mean, they were just doing it for fun, and they weren't really looking to be business people. Okay,
yeah.
They needed to be inspired. They needed to be led. And I, if there's a failing that I had as the president of that organization, is something I learned later on is that a leader's number one job is to create more leaders. Not to stand there and say, be better like me, be better like us, come and be better. I mean, we had a bunch of kids that did this for fun. And then we all showed up saying, well, you did this and this and this, and you could be really great, right? What they heard was their dad telling them to get their stuff together. Mm-hmm. Well, I got into DJing because I didn't want to listen to my dad tell me to get my stuff together, right? So here we are telling them, once we've gotten our stuff together, that, hey, man, you better get your stuff together.
Yep.
As opposed to coming together as a group. I think that the first thing that needs to happen as an industry is we need to gather as many DJs together as possible. Even people who are sitting at home with their stuff and pretending they're a DJ or saying that if they say they're a DJ, I think that we should say, yes, you are. Okay? Because if we collect everybody together and we get 100,000 guys to have a little card that says, I'm a DJ. Now we've got enough men and women together to be able to say, okay, so now that we've got 100,000 of you, how many of you would like to make a good living at this? Here's some people that are making a really good living at this. Would you like this as well? As opposed to saying you have to have it, make it available to them. Show them that it's possible. because that's how I got excited about it. Nobody took me inside and said, Bill, you better get your stuff together. No, I saw somebody and was inspired by that person.
Sure. Yep.
That person being Mark Farrell when I first saw it. And I was inspired, so I went out to find out how to do it. And you know how it is. If you go looking to find a way to do it, you'll find a way. But if you're told by somebody that you better do these things or you won't figure it out, then you just tune them out. You know, it's not really why I got into this. Shut up, man. Leave me alone. I'm doing okay. I'm getting paid. I'm meeting girls. I drink for free at this bar, you know. And I understand that. I think that if somebody would have done that to me when I was working the bars in Detroit in my early 20s, I would have told them to go to hell as well. Instead, it happened to me when I got inspired by somebody else. And then I reached out and said, I want that. How can I have that? And we are not doing that. We're not inviting in the young kids, regardless of whether or not they're doing it for beer and girls. They bring them in so they can start seeing that there's something beyond what they're already doing. And when they see it, most of them, I think, will at some point go, I'd like some of that. Even if it's just, you make more money than me. Wow, I'd like more of that. Or you have a house and all you do is DJ? I'd like to have that. But that wasn't even a possibility. No one even considered that was real. And a lot of people who saw it and were told that they could have it looked at those people and didn't believe them. Oh yeah, but you must have 3 other jobs, or you must have a rich wife, or you know what I'm saying? There's no way in the world you're making enough money to do this. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right on. Just keep going.
Okay.
You're on a roll.
I think I was done.
You're done. Okay. The inspiring part, and there's definitely times where there's the fine line between inspiring and being your dad type of situation. Yeah. And as you're describing this, I'm just imagining your teenage daughters and how they roll their eyes. And it's like the lessons from teenagers. I think that should have been the subtitle of the show.
Well, I mean, when did you start? I mean, there's not many guys who decide, guys and girls that thought about DJing, that thought about it when they were in their 30s. There's a few. Yeah. But at those guys, they're even thinking, okay, so how do I make some serious money at this?
Yeah.
But when you're doing it when you're 16, 17, 18, you're doing it because you can turn the music up loud. Okay. You can play your favorite music and maybe somebody will give you money for it. You could do it in front of all your friends at school. And if you're not cool, like I wasn't cool and I couldn't play an instrument and I had to be cool because I wanted to meet girls, what's better than turning up the music really loud and standing behind it like I'm in charge, or like I just played that Elton John song, right? So and get paid for it too. You mean you're going to give me $20? This is rocking cool, man. But we know that that's not how you make a living doing that. That's how you have fun doing it.
Yep.
But number one, this is a fun job. People don't do it because they're going to make money. They find out they can. But you don't do it because you're going to make money. You do it because it's fun, okay? And you can look cooler than you are. And we stopped seeing that, right? We got to where we were, and we said, well, this is the way it should be. Mm-hmm. And we forgot where we came from. We forgot that we weren't that we didn't care, that we weren't trying to do anything except for be cool. And then be able to say, I mean, heck, when my dad wanted me to go to college, I said, hey, man, I got a job. I'm getting paid, and I'm getting paid to do something cool. Now, granted, with the knowledge I have now, I get exactly what my dad was saying. I mean, I was making, $300 twice a week in cash, okay, and pissing most of that away. So when I went to radio school, I figured out that I could still DJ, but I also had to have 2 other jobs. 2 of them was pushing brooms, you know what I mean, and delivering pizzas. But I said I was a DJ, so it wasn't like we were inspired by those people who were telling us that we should be a thing. Well, I was inspired, like everybody else should be inspired or will be inspired, by seeing someone that they think they could be, something they think they could have. But they've got to see it. We can't just tell them. They've got to see it. And we can't show it to them until we get them all together in a big group. Say, okay, you're a DJ. This is the DJ club. Welcome to the DJ club. And they all look around and say, yeah, that's a DJ like me, and that's a DJ like me. There's another DJ like me. Oh, but that DJ, he's not like me. In fact, he is like me, but he's making more money. He's respected by his peers. He's got people giving him a lot more respect. Geez, that would be cool. I mean, I like that. I like the fact that my dad might see me later. I might go get that. And because I don't know one DJ in the last 20 years that ever came to be a part of a group like this or to be better because you and I or anybody went up to them and said, hey, kid, you know something? You're doing okay here, but you know what you ought to do? You ought to do this and this and this. None of them. Every one of them that did turned around and saw me or you or Mark Farrell or Mike Walter or Sean McKee or any of the guys that we know of all over the country and gone, that's awesome. I want that. I want that means they go and get that. But there's not enough of us putting those young men and women in a room and showing them that there's something available. We're putting them in a room and telling them that they have to have it, which just makes them run away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first step is to start some kind of a thing where everybody who ever thought they thought they were a DJ, or anybody who ever thinks they're a DJ, can sign up and get their DJ card for nothing. Okay. And so we have a list of people all over the country, in fact, all over the world, that say, I'm a DJ. Now, with that, I think that we can now begin to organize around creating something bigger. And when we become a bigger organization, when there's more people in a pool, then the idea of being something bigger than themselves becomes a possibility. That's why we started. We saw DJing and DJ associations as something bigger than themselves, something that could be big, and we could be there at the ground floor of something that could make a difference in our lives and other people's lives. Okay, that's why the ADJ started. That's why NAME started. That's why all these organizations started. But I think when you look back at all these organizations now, and they're all just guys like you and I at our age, nobody followed us, mostly because we weren't out there tapping on the shoulders of the next generation as if maybe they wouldn't listen to us. So I don't know if it's us reaching back into the new generation of the teens and the 20s and the 30s, or finding enough of those young men and women who can inspire those people in their generation. But I wish I could tell you who those people are right now.
Sure.
It's difficult to see. You and I, as much as you and I probably know more than most, we still find that we are regularly talking to people within our own generation. And those young kids are not really looking for us. So actually we'd have to go looking for them. Or somebody's going to have to do the same thing we did without our tutelage. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, it certainly does. It does. And that makes, Big Daddy, we had this conversation a little bit with him at Mobile Beat, as he on stage talked about the next generation of DJs coming up, who are getting to that point now where they're ready to be the ones to give back and to help share the knowledge and share. And as Jordan Marshall said, that we're going to take some of the messages that have been shared with them from people like Big Daddy and yourself and myself and whoever, and now they're bringing in the next generation of thought to that and taking those ideas and tweaking them and making them their own and da-da-da. So there's some out there.
I agree. But what's not happening is that those men and women are using those things and they're getting better. And of course they're being leaders within their own little circle, but it's not like what they're not doing that we ended up doing was they're not reaching out to those that aren't already a part of their circle. You know what I mean? It's like there's nobody reaching out into the vastness of what we don't believe even exists. I haven't met, there was a point where you and I pretty much knew every DJ in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. We knew every one of them. We met them all. We knew them all. Because you and I spent weeks on the phone calling them, going someplace and meeting them. Now, this new generation that you were talking to about with Big Daddy, they're learning. They saw it was available, but are they now becoming the organizers that you and I became, or that those people did the ADJ when they were doing it that they became. They need to reach out and organize. That's what has to happen. It can't just be the few people that trickle in to kind of found out that it was going on and go, oh, I'd love to have that. Oh, okay, so there's a few, but they're not reaching behind them.
Yeah.
And trying to, they're not reaching behind them and trying to inspire those people that don't even know that this sort of a thing exists for them. They're still living, the young man who's already learning from Big Daddy, he was that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Big Daddy reached back. Now this young man has to see that he can do the same thing. He can make that difference. But I don't think enough people are telling him that now you're the guy. It's not me, it's not you, it's not Big Daddy, it's not Mike Walter, it's not Mark Farrell. We all have the skills, but no one looks at us and goes, that's cool. They see us as that's something I can have later on. I can have that kind of professionalism. I can have that kind of income level, but that's still my dad telling me I should have it, as opposed to a young man saying, come on, man, let's organize ourselves together, which is why we were successful. Does that make sense?
Oh, it certainly does. It really does. And you talk about, of course, the reaching back or reaching to the, however one area I think that sometimes we overlook is the reaching to the side, that there are, you mentioned people who don't know that there are things that exist like a mobile beat,
right,
like the content or what have you. And I think we have a lot of our contemporaries, maybe in our same market or maybe outside of our market, that really haven't gotten that inspiration yet, haven't connected in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I think as important it is to catch the younger people, I think it's still very important to be catching those people in their 30s and 40s who are getting into this for the first time.
But we're waiting for the publications to do it. We're waiting for Mobile Beat and their promotional machine to do it. We're waiting for DJ Times and its promotional machine to do it. And those promotional machines are really not reaching into a new generation. They're reaching and talking to those of us that are already part of it.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
So to bring new people in, it has to really become a grassroots thing, because the big publications and the associations do not have the income to be able to reach out to those new people to inspire. It has to come from us. It has to be a grassroots effort from those people that Jordan and all of those people are creating a grassroots effort to kind of bring them in and show them that there's a mobile beat, to show them there's a DJ Times, to show them that there's an Arms DJ, to show them that there's a Midwest DJs Live. And there's publications and people and organizations and associations, but they don't know it exists. And if they do know it exists, they don't know why they should care. That's a grassroots thing. It has to be a grassroots thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that those relationships, they can hear us talk about it and it doesn't make as much sense. But when they hear a friend talk about it and sharing why they personally care, mm-hmm, and why it's important to them, where they have taken ownership of it and can share that passion. There's nothing more effective in that reach than that.
Right. Well, what would be more effective is if we had somebody with a big pile of money that could actually promote. I mean, with a benefactor, somebody could actually advertise. They could go to all of the gear shops. They could go to all the guitar centers. They could reach out to all the high schools and all the colleges, and they could find those people. Okay, but what we don't have is an industry that has the kind of backing to be able to get the kind of money necessary to go do it. So until that happens, it has to be grassroots, because we don't have a big benefactor that's going to throw $1 million. I mean, somebody gives you and I $2 million, and this could happen, mm-hmm, because it would have to be this marketing campaign reaching out to people around one message. Until that happens, it's grassroots organizing.
Yep, for sure.
It's the grassroots organizing, the same kind of grassroots organizing that happens in a local town a political campaign. Okay, we want the mayor to be the mayor. Well, that's grassroots, right? Who's doing that though? Who is doing that? And how do they see that this is a good thing for them when there's really not a lot of money in it? Mm-hmm. And you and I have found over the years that there's no money in it. Okay. we're not making money. You and I have lost more money in the DJ industry than we've made because of this crusade. Doesn't mean that I'm unhappy with this crusade and that I'm unhappy that we've done it, and I'm still doing it. But I wonder sometimes, if we had 2,000 of people like you and I, how much more of a difference this would actually make.
Yeah.
And even that without having the financial backing, because we're still spending our own damn money. And that's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. Because no matter how much of my money gets spent or your money gets spent, it's still a drop in the bucket of the amount of money necessary to be able to create what you and I are describing.
Yeah, for sure. Bill, we got to wrap up here. Thank you much. If people want to reach out and say hi, congratulate you on your long running Monday morning show on DJing TV. See what I did there?
Yeah, it's a creative license. You can find the creative license. There's a YouTube channel for the entertainment experience, and I keep those videos there. You keep them on DJing TV. Also, I've got a Facebook page for creative license, but you can find me anywhere. The entertainment experience workshops are. I'm doing one this year in November, which is about half full. Well, it's a little more than half full now.
Yeah.
And if you got questions about that, you can reach out. But honestly, you can find me just with a Google search, and my telephone number and email is out there. So anybody wants to reach out and say hi for any reason at all, or got questions, I'm pleased and happy to do so. Bill, except for maybe you. You bother me a lot.
That's a gift I have, and you're so welcome. Bill, thank you much for taking some time out from your trip tonight. Gang, the next video link with Shani, she's going to be up here in just a couple of minutes. Go to djntv.com/DJEDU, and we will be back in about a minute and a half. The link for her show is right there. Thanks again, Bill.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome. We'll see you.